Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, Boruto, real quick and simple episode like it usually is. Um, we pretty much just learned that there's some ridiculous mutated like powers now within the world. I guess mutated might not be the best word for it, but it just feels like none of these things has ever existed, um, like to such a degree. And not to mention that the people who are making this show have a lot, they have a lot more creativity. They have a lot more freedom what they could do with the powers. For Christ's sakes, they made a snot jutsu, okay? Um, like literally slewing out boogers to trap your enemies or to save a friend. Like it's out here. So with that being said, we get to see what we probably just like had a very nice like stop, and now it's just back now. But it was a nice conclusion to the fact of them trying to build up all the side characters, even though they kind of all are similar to a very degree to their parents. Which there's just one little thing I wanted to rant about, and I wanted to see if people actually agree or if you disagree. But last time I checked, the people who our characters grew up to be is very similar to their own parents. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Sasuke became any different than his own father. He's still pretty much using the same techniques he used when his father was around on him, on his daughter. Uh, Naruto became the Hokage like his father. He uses Rasengan like his father. He has the nine tails a part of his body like his father. He saved, the village countless times like his, you know what I mean? I could go on, but he never even got to meet the guy until he went into some weird Twilight Zone stuff and could start seeing dead people, you know. Or like he saw him before the reincarnation, I believe. Like he felt what he would look like or something when he was doing, I forgot what it was. I think when he held the Rasengan or something, he felt like the previous users, and I think he saw them. I think that was filler though. But either way, Shikadai for now, now with his kid, literally, they're trying to, in the preview of the next episode, pretty much show that, hey, we aren't doing that. We're better than that, and what did they do? They try to make one of the Hokage's second hand man, or his right hand man, they want to make that guy's kid a politician and not a disgusting high ranked ninja that can pretty much hold his own when it comes down to certain Hokage level threats that are trying to come at Naruto. And he's not, I'm pretty sure out of everybody, he's not one of the people who are going to be the first ones out anymore. Like he has a lot of ways he can use a shadow, and from being as smart as he is and passing that down to his son, and who did he get that from? His father. You know what I mean? Like everybody from this show kind of resembles their parent to a degree. I mean, almost Kakashi is the same way by being so to himself and whatnot, like how his father was. But to say that and to say this now, how was Kakashi born? I don't think we've ever seen Kakashi's mother, right? I don't think we've ever really heard how his mother was on the side, or um, how did his father even meet the mother. They kind of just did Kakashi's backstory very haphazard after, when it came down to just the father aspect of it. Like he pretty much died, and then Kakashi had to just grow up by himself and learn a lot more stuff by himself. But for people to say that he can't have a kid, I feel like that's counterproductive to how Kakashi was born in the first place, because the way Kakashi's father was an Anbu ninja, some guy who pretty much wanted to change the world from his seat, from wherever he was, and he was trying to do well for the village, and ends up doing something horrible, and going even in further depression. It's weird that he had a kid. You know what I mean? So what's stopping Kakashi? You know, and it seems like his dad wanted his privacy. He didn't even know much about his father besides what the ninja people had on file about him. You know, so that's just a weird way of looking at the series. Like a lot of these characters are getting unique abilities now that really make it feel like they are trying to change up. I'm gonna hit by that. They're just trying to change up the format of what's going on, and with seeing sound being implemented to a higher degree, because there were the ninjas that Orochimaru made, you know, so there were sound ninjas. Don't get me wrong, this isn't like it's brand new, but the way she's using it and the way that it's naturally coming out seems more um seems a lot better than what Orochimaru probably did to those kids for them to even be able to be capable of using their ability, for instance, you know. So and not to mention, once they destroyed some of the weaponry that Orochimaru had on them, I don't think they could use much of it anymore. So it's just those types of things that really make you wonder how powerful the Sound Ninja people could have been if it was a seemingly a natural um, like way that they achieved it. And they all had the curse mark, so all their sound powers were being increased. And we have this girl in this week who's pretty much spitting out sound waves so fast that can catch a ninja full sprint who already had a head start on you. You know, like stuff like that is what oh my god, that was so dirty. What really gives you the indication that this show still has so much more to try to throw out there. It's just the fact that we got to accept it, and some of the stuff seems like really dumb, and other stuff seems a lot better. But like the cat girl's power, for instance, she shows us all these really cool martial arts in this week, and then at the same time, she then shows us what she'll do to a real enemy, which is jump on his face and scratch him, and then not really use any of her mobility and get caught by quicksand if need be, you know. So we got the other girl who cries, and pretty much that's the only way she could conjure up the ability to even knock out people. And then she was using water jutsu all this week that ends up only hitting going against water users themselves, so it wasn't really effective at all and a waste of time. So she pretty much then uses the same technique that she was training to do with her water on her crying, and it just came out to be like this butter. And it shot out a long, strong sound wave that kind of rivals a lot of people's powers. Like she just jumped probably up to, I want to say she's like the fourth strongest in the show, guys. Like this is ridiculous. First of all, the guy gets absolutely destroyed, and not to mention, she uses the beam far away. She's already used a couple water jutsus, and not to mention, she still lets off a scream, but it was an AoE only because she couldn't control her chakra, because she's probably never felt this drained before, to be honest. She used a lot of techniques and a lot of power in them, not to mention in a critical situation, so even the pressure was building up, which is something she cracks under every single time we see her. So you got to imagine that does put a little bit of stress on her. Not to mention the fact that she still doesn't want to like hurt her friends now that Mitsuki put in her head that if you do something wrong, you might kill everybody. Good luck, Team 5. Like, he just doesn't really think before he talks, and he's just like, yeah, that shouldn't affect her at all. She'll be fine. She won't cry again. Um, but yeah, we are looking at some very interesting episodes of Boruto coming up. The same reason why I kind of saw this series is nowhere like the manga, because of how much character development and how much backstory some of these non-characters that are, I don't even think half or maybe like a third of these characters popped up in the series because the manga didn't really care to elaborate on other ninjas that were weaker. They wanted to more or less focus on the three top ninjas in their time, more like how the first season of Naruto was. It was really focused mainly on Sasuke, Sarada, and Naruto. And we did see a little bit of people show up here and there, but we haven't even really got that, besides like the rival from the movie. So, other than that, Boruto is going in an interesting direction. I just wonder where it's going to end. With that, my anime people, I will talk to you in the next one. Take care, subscribe, and peace.